rising Venus signs, welcome to your timeless work, career, and vocation reading. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. They're my initials. Mercury conjunct Venus in Libra, third house. President of Drawing Circle Productions since 1998, 24 years in service at the time of this timeless recording. Author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Available on Kindle. Link in the description box. Just one of my art forms as a writer. Maybe it's my legacy. We'll see if I write another book. But I'm also a creator on Patreon, patreon.com/Drawing the Circle. And since I'm talking to the cardinal air signs of the zodiac, if you are a creative type, go check it out for yourself. It's a subscription service. You get to set your own subscription levels and the benefits that you give to them. We got a lot of good stuff going on over there. Creative Libra, Mars conjunct Venus, third house self-expression that I incarnated to do in this life. Humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses are the names of my subscription levels. That will change. I'm going to be adding more as I go. And I pretty much stream there every single morning. Cup of coffee, bathrobe, talking about the day's astrological weather, the spiritual implications, the magical applications. Loving it so much. It's an unlisted YouTube link so that can chat with me every morning. They have access, all levels have access to all the extended readings that I do. Past, present, and into future. So if you want the deeper experience, if you want some more magic, some more miracles, some more mysticism, some more Mal, come Patreon on Patreon, because I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but just call me Mal. Hi. My seventh housers, my cardinal heirs, my King of Swords, because, you know, Zodiac in the Tarot is a thing. Let's get down to business. I'm psyched to do this. I'm actually traveling upstate tomorrow to look at a house that we're looking at buying so I can move. So, timestamp for the moment. If you are new to the channel, this is actually a 3-level of power reading. There's a link in the description box from Carolyn Myss, a video here on YouTube. Carolyn Myss, MYSS. She's a PhD, and this is her archetype deck, explaining that in much more detail than I can here. But essentially, there are 3 symbolic or archetypal lenses through which you can look at different areas of your life. We're going to look at life purpose, broken down into 3 categories. If you like work, career, vocation, how you survive, your personal creativity, and your spiritual calling. There are chakras involved. I'll explain that as I go. But it is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs, because usually each reading has a point of leverage, right? One of the 3 lanes, if you will. So sometimes you do a little work on your career and it shifts your work and your vocation. You know, you sort of get the idea. Yeah, we're doing 13 cards. We're going to be ending with the Whispers of Lord Ganesha, the Indian, get it right, Mark, the Hindu elephant head god of success and wealth and prosperity, and he's just wonderful. But in the West, for some reason, he's primarily known as the remover of obstacles. So maybe we can shift some stuff for each other. And keep in mind, this is about your life purpose. So the more you're fulfilling your life purpose, you will have a more fulfilling life, but that doesn't mean you're going to avoid the stuff that you can't avoid. It can be delayed but not prevented. 2, you're going to be, B, I should say, A, 2, B, you're going to uplift the people around you in your own life, in your work, career, vocation, as you bring them into alignment, the chakras and the 3 levels, etc., being more fulfilled. But then C, you're helping all of life on planet Earth, because the more each and every one of us takes a step forward, taking our fate and manifesting our destiny, which is the fulfillment of our sacred contracts, great book by Carolyn Myss, you're really helping the world shift timelines into things that are so much better, so much healthier, where it's in service to all, not just a percentage. You with me? So, both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I'm going to keep it sassy if you don't mind, because I got a lot to do. I got to keep my energy high so I don't burn out before I pack and drive 5 hours tomorrow. So let's hang in there. Let's have some fun, and let's see what hits the table. I love you. Please take a nice deep breath. Someone in the parking lot agrees. Breathe. From explanation to divination, here we go. Still point. Let's do this. Using the Caroline Myss archetype deck, I call to the collective pantheons. The angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of work, career, and vocation, their own higher selves, and the higher selves of all involved, as well as Lord Ganesh, for the Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video and receiving this reading for their work, career, vocation. I need them work, career, vocation, but once we flip them, we're going to read them vocation, career, work. And then we'll add Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Mythic Tarot, get some Macon healing mantras, and get Lord Ganesha's guidance and grace. So, for work, first level of power, physical world, survival intuition, how they survive in the world, lower 3 chakra dominant, masculine, yang energy for the Libras. Second level of power, creative intuition, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra dynamic, their creativity, their passion, their hunger, their thirst, their internal laboratory, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual dynamic. And for their vocation, 8th chakra archetype, their spiritual power, their mystical power, their spiritual calling, their visionary intuition. Please, the star that calls them, guides them forward in this timeless work, career, vocation read. Oh, okay, this is interesting. This has got a definite Eastern, if not wholesale Asian flavor to it. You've got the warrior in the work, so you're a working warrior in the physical world. How you survive, that makes sense. The mentor in your career, so this is an action family archetype, the warrior, because it's gender neutral.
Here's what I found online.
Why, thank you. Excuse me for one moment. I have pants on, don't worry. I put you on silent and still you talk. That's all right. That's all right. It's allowed to do that. It's just trying to be helpful. Never work with animals, children, or apparently AI. So we've got the warrior archetype, action family archetype. There are 9 different families. The mentor is the wisdom family archetype, and I'm loving that because second lane here is heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And in your vocation, the hermit, another wisdom. So you got 2 wisdoms and an action working from the 8th chakra down. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to read what's on here. I'm going to, give you the shadow and the light attribute. The shadow attribute addresses the content that needs to be healed. The lead, the light, the gold, how you shift, alchemize yourself from lead to gold. And as you do, you take everybody else along with you little by little by little. So let's talk about the hermit. You can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I have the hermit seasonally. It comes and goes. All right, I am a Virgo, but I'm an artist, so I do have to interact with the world. So check out the shadow. Withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others. I will cop to that. I will absolutely cop to that. I'll own that. But refusing to help those in need now. That's so you get, there's a spectrum, and it's all a spectrum, a percentage of lead to gold. For each of us individually. So what you're shooting for here in your spiritual power, your calling, your life vocation, seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. It's what I have to do just to maintain balance, Libra, right? So to be a hermit right now, reason, season, maybe you've done this your entire lifetime. Certainly that can be used for creative ends, right? Creativity, but also to engage your higher self, your soul. You know what I'm talking about. If you're watching my channel, chances are you do. So in your career, now this is heart, third eye, crown dynamic. This is where we create, right? How a thought chosen creates an emotion, right? Mental power, will power, choices, decision, and emotionally, just that alone. But with the mentor, definitely there are other people involved here. The shadow attribute, inability to allow the student to move up to the role of master. That has happened to me directly, right? People who just, for some reason, did not want me to surpass them. And the student is supposed to surpass the teacher. That's the gig. Or imparting false instructions. It's very sabotorial. So, of course, as horrible as that sounds, the light is as brilliant. Passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Now, I'm not really a mentor, but it can come in for a reason, right? Maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe one particular relationship, because I'm a teacher. That's what the dominant wisdom family archetype in my sacred contracts, according to Carolyn Mace's magnificent work. So this is very third eye. This is very third eye and throat for sure. The Hermit, very third eye crown chakra. But now here we're looking at the warrior. Bang, bang, I am the warrior. The shadow attribute, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. And look, just because you can't pick up a coffee table and throw it across the room doesn't mean, right, it's not all about, the brawn. It can definitely be done with the brain in action, that kind of toxicity. Like think politics, what people will do to stay elected, right, to win at all costs, right? The light attribute, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. That means the ability to make the tough choices and decisions. Heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Now, I would change that language from conquering to integrating the ego. It takes a warrior's heart to acknowledge that the ego is actually in pain and not the enemy. Because if you fight the ego, you're just the ego fighting the ego. So that's a whole other conversation, I know, but it made its way in. So in this reading, you're a hermit, mentor, warrior, right? So the hermit, your vocation, the mentor, your career, and the warrior, what you're doing in your work. Okay. That's about as much as we're going to talk about any of these cards individually, except for the Lord Ganesh. It is the only bookie book read, as I like to call them. We're not doing them for the healing mantra cards because it takes too long, but I know those cards enough, and what will fly out of my mouth will hopefully serve. Daughters of the Moon Tarot, though, is looking at the next 4 chakras down, crown, third eye, throat, and heart. Your feminine energy, your interior world, your creative laboratory, even though that is very much a second level of power, career dominant, just like your vocation is 8th chakra dominant. Sometimes that's where we really find the leverage. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon my goddesses of air, the sign of Libra, powers of the East, please, beloved ones. 3 cards in clarity. We'll call them out. Now let's do them 3 face down. We're going to put them down work, career, vocation, but we're going to read them vocation, career, work. Please, for the Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this timeless work, career, vocation reading. They got the warrior in the 8th in their work, how they survive in the world, which a lot of people do. They will activate that archetype for a reason, a season, if not their lifetime. We got the mentor in their career in the 8th. Maybe somebody's mentoring them. That could be part of it. Maybe they're being held back by someone in that sort of position. So what's going on there behind the scenes? Heart, throat, third eye, crown. And for their vocation with the Hermit, which is really taking the time and the space to recharge, to go within, to tune into our own interior fields rather than rely upon the information in the outside world, which isn't so great. It's subjective at best. So please, what's heart, throat, third eye, crown for the Hermit in this Libra Collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, work, career, vocation, read. Let's see who you got. So the Hermit with the Aries card, the Calafia, the Maiden of Flames, which would be the King of Wands. The Mentor with Kali, the Tower, that could be your leverage for surezies. But for the Warrior, you've got the Judgment card in this deck, Celebration. something is revealed. Now, this is inside yourself. You got 2 major arcana cards and a court card. So let me say that if it's a major arcana in this type of reading, it's all 4 chakras, where fire might certainly be the throat chakra for self-expression, choices, will, decision, what you yearn for, what you burn for. So let's do this. The Hermit turning inward to the Aries. Aries, if you have no planetary anything going on in Aries, it's okay. But this can't be somebody outside of you because it's inside world. So Calafia, goddess of native California, right? She's an Amazon, right? She's essentially the Amazons of the Western Americas a long time ago. Very, very powerful card. So it is about leadership, but first house is the self, the personality, and the ego. So the internal work, cardinal fire, Aries, there is a beginning there. There is an initiation. And if that were the Ace of Flames, I don't think it would mean the same thing as what I'm getting here, which is about you really going inside and finding your own autonomy, your own sense of self, at least where you are on the journey right now. Particularly with the other 2 tarot cards on the table, because in your career, the mentor is being or sending down lightning. Kali, the awakener. Look, Kali is terrifying, but she's really Kuan Yin in disguise, right? This is ruthless compassion. I would rather people speak the truth to me. Yes, if you cannot say it with kindness, I understand. It's a challenge, right? Finding that balance verbally. But this feels like someone's being struck by lightning, by light, by truth, heart, throat, third eye, crown. That could come from interacting with a mentor, or this could be the mentor really getting it and things are changed instantly. One truth, not just what appears true. Remember, the sun does not really rise in the east and set in the west if the planet rotates on an axis, right? That is an illusion. It's a perception. It's not true. And certainly the Tower card often speaks of things that we thought were true being untrue, right? The lightning strikes and we got to start over, building with a solid foundation. So if you are a mentor, there could be a real lightning strike in here. Now the next 3 cards are going to look at the more physical aspect, the masculine energy. But I don't fear the Tower or the Reaper. Winds and sound in the rain, whatever. Blue Oyster Cult from Oyster Bay. Blue Oyster Bay Cult. This can absolutely be a spiritual awakening, right? It is Kali the Awakener, but she's got to destroy some of their illusions in the way, or what have you. But with the Warrior, now look, I love this card, right? It looks like women holding hands, like, I don't know, women's gathering or something, camping. And they're like, let's go dance naked around the fire. So they do, right? Except it's not a fire. It's the navel of the goddess, and the breasts are in the foreground. And you see it now, right, Kenya? It's a great card because it is saying that the answers are right in front of you, but they have not, as of yet, been revealed. Well, this card is a card of revelation. That's why in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, right? You have Archangel Gabriel, the Judgment card. That scene is from the Book of Revelations. The things that were hidden are revealed so that a final decision can be made. And I'm going to tell you, the first decision that you can make here is, where do you want to be on this lead to gold, shadow to light, pain to peace, toxic to healthy warrior archetype? Because if it's win at all costs and not caring what anybody thinks or feels, well, I don't think with that major arcana card inside of you that that's going to be the case. I feel like you are going to see something, understand something, and again, heart, throat, third eye, crown all at once as a result of this lightning striking. That's going to really shift that for you. But remember, you have free... I think that what might be what this is that the Hermit, you're finding, I really do have free will here. It's so easy to feel like we have no choices and no decisions. And I'll tell you what my guide said to me just this morning while I was running errands. They said, I want you to think of every timeline, right, going on planet Earth, because it's holographic. There are billions of them, the quantum variations, blah, blah, blah. Please don't make me do math. They said, think about it like a ride at like Disney World. Now, I went to Disney World when I was a little kid. I haven't been back since. But I remember Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and then like the Flume, and you know, they're on rails, and they said, we want you to think that every time you jump to a different timeline, you're still on rails. Course in Miracles, this has been coming up a lot for these readings lately. Course in Miracles, it says in the introduction, free will does not mean that you get to choose the curriculum. It just means you get to choose what you want to take within said curriculum at any given time. So it can be delayed but not prevented. So, you know, just like a video game, right? It's all programmed. You still have choices. You know, jump, shoot, duck, whatever. Activate special magical power, what have you. Cast spell, fireball, whatever it is. But you can't control what the options are. That's all on rails, and that's why you can't fuck it up from the soul's point of view, because you're an immortal being in a mortal form. Yeah. So I like this. This is a lot. That is certainly a lot. But let's look at from the outside looking in at you, or the inside, you inside yourself looking out at a person, place, or thing with the mythic tarot. The masculine energy, the yang, can mirror. That's why in a general read, when I do this for clients, we can clarify pretty quickly whether it's them looking at themselves, them looking at someone or something else, or both. But lower three chakras are about relationships in the world. Root chakra groups, tribes, circles of friends can be office workers, right? The office, right? Corporations are tribes. Your nationality, all that, you get the gist. Second chakra, really very Libra, one-on-one relationship to another person or thing, like money, creativity, sex, power, addictions in there too. It's your relationship to a substance. And all that jazz. Solar plexus, your relationship to yourself, your self-esteem as a verb, your intuition, because if you get something in your gut that nobody else is getting, what do you do with it, right? Do you estimate your own intuition as worthy of acting upon or not? And that's a journey too, as well as your boundary code. Your boundaries and your honor code. What you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, which is necessary for spiritual evolution. But, you know, babies have no ethics. We learn them as we go. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Yeah, this is a power raid. As I call upon my gods of air, the sign of Libra, powers of the East. Please, 3 cards face down. Work, career, vocation for the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. For their life purpose, work, career, vocation. For work, they got the Warrior in the 8th chakra with celebration, the Judgment card on the inner. There's the outer, outside looking in, inside looking out, lower 3 chakra, masculine dynamic for the mentor with Kali, the Awakener, the Tower card in the career. And for their vocation, the Hermit, looking within to embrace perhaps their own self-power. Calafia, King of Wands, but here as Maiden of Flames, first sign of the zodiac. Ego, personality, personal journey in the personal level of power. We got the lower 3 chakras on the table. Let's see who we've got. Well, I'll tell you where your leverage is in a minute, because we're going to start down here. You've got the Hermit in the 8th. Aries on the inside. Again, if you don't have Aries, whatever, read about first house Aries dynamic. And if you do have planets in Aries, I would suggest incorporate that knowledge, because on the outside you've got the Queen of Cups, Helen of Troy, in the Mythic Tarot. Didn't talk a lot, like Scorpios often don't, about what they're actually feeling. Fixed water, so this could be you. From the outside looking in, being very, very guarded about your emotions, but feeling things deeply. 8th house dynamic, money, sex, power, other people's resources, mysticism, depth, fixed water. But that could also be somebody else that you are dealing with. This could be an intuitive type. This could be an emotional counselor, an emotional transformer. Scorpio ruled by Pluto, the god Hades, the god of death and transformation. Nice guy, though. Like him a lot. Looks like Michael Hutchins from In Excess with pinned straight hair, and I'm okay with that. So with that Scorpio card, Queen of Cups, whether you're dealing with a Queen of Cups, do they have to be a Scorpio? No. But I would go with somebody who has hidden depth, right? That you could sense, that you could feel, but that could also be you holding back about what you are feeling, and hopefully feeling it and transforming it in the kind of work that only you can do. See, there are certain frequencies of love that only we can give ourselves, right? I think that's why we see so many celebrities, and I use that word generally, who didn't get the love they needed as a kid, and that's showbiz kid, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The whole world can love them. They're still suffering because they haven't tuned themselves to that frequency of love that only we can give ourselves, our own unique vibrino. So there's big healing there for you. But I think a second level of power, your career, is where, well, I guess it depends on where your leverage is. So mentor in the 8th, Kali on the inner. Well, how about the Emperor, Zeus, the thrower of lightning with lightning striking? The Emperor is the conglomeration, the amalgamation of all of the kings in the tarot, fire, earth, air, and water. So the Spirit King. Now, this could be your leverage if you are in some way, shape, or form in total control of your own career, like being self-employed. I am. So I make my own schedule and traveling. So I've had 3 or 4 different versions of my production schedule because things are changing. I'm probably buying a house when I go up there, but I don't know yet, right? So you got to juggle that. Either that, or you are dealing with a boss person there, or perhaps give me the word, an administration, which is a little bit different than a tribe. Does every tribe have an administrator? So this could certainly be a person, as well as it could be a symbolic place that you're walking through in your life. And if that is the case, if you are the emperor of this, know that where you are, you have the ability to really serve others by blowing them up with truth. But how do you want to do that, right? You want to refine somebody's character, not reduce them to ashes. I've had a lot of people mentor me when I was younger who were like, well, you know, the gay thing. It's like, that's not helpful anymore. I don't think, it wasn't helpful then, and nor did it matter, because I didn't listen, obvi. So, I love Zeus. I know he's a sky father. Got around, but he had to spread all that divine DNA through humanity. That's why they call us the hidden children of the gods, kids. Well, at least that's what they call the witches. So that's what I'm saying. Get mentorship, share mentorship, that wisdom there. That really feels like, depending on who that emperor is in a general read, that's your leverage. But we still got more cards, so let's finish these up. All right, so the warrior with this revelation, 8 of Cups on the outer. So lower 3 chakras, that is a walk away, but probably more walk into. This is Psyche of Eros and Psyche. Read the myth. In order for her to be with the true love of her life, Eros, the god of romantic love, the son of Aphrodite, she's got to run an errand for her mother-in-law, and oh, what an errand it is. Actually, a couple of different errands. I think 3. I mean, she got to go into the underworld to go get some rapid wrinkle repair from Persephone. I mean, that's a lot, but I would do it if necessary. I would go to the underworld for some rapid wrinkle repair. Oh, by the way, at the time of this recording, a week from today, I will be 54 years old. 54, just like the studio. Yeah, I know I don't look at things. I have to keep these fun for myself, otherwise I will burn out big time. So I like what's on the table, Libra. So let's have some fun with the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck. We're not reading the bookie book for this one because it's 3 of them and it will take too long. But these mantras have helped me a lot. I've been doing work, career, vocation reads for clients for decades, since I learned about the 3 levels of power from Carolyn Myss, and I have to think that was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, read them 3, 2, 1, but there are a couple of different ways to read these, and these will help align each one individually, but then I'll show you how to put them all together. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. It's like call upon the ascended masters of life purpose, sacred contracts, right? Through the lenses of work, career, vocation, please, for the Libra collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. Now, I'm going to try and do this without looking, so just leave the right cards in my hand, because the name of the mantra is on one side, the mantra itself is on the other. So, for the Libra with the warrior, the working warrior, revelation, celebration, the judgment card on the inner, 8 of Cups, walking into themselves perhaps to get into that 8th chakra, descent into the underworld, shamanic descent, but to me, not walking away from, always walking towards, but of course that indicates away. So what's their perfect healing mantra to help them with their, one card. The AMs upstairs are really sending the energy through on this one. I don't think my nervous system's dealing with it very well. Please, for their work, the perfect healing mantra, try not to look for the Libra collective, for their career. They've got the mentor in the 8th, Kali on the inner, the Tower, Emperor, lower 3 chakras on the outer, for their creativity, their creative intuition, that healing mantra, and for their vocation, their spiritual calling, their spiritual mystical power. Hermit in the 8th, Aries on the inner, Scorpio on the outer. That sounds like a rather intense combo. Please, the perfect healing mantra to help them out in, I knew it, to help them out, because though this may or may not be their leverage, this is the only one really indicating perhaps another person. So the perfect healing mantra for the Libra collective in their vocation. Thank you. Takes a while. Plus it's a little human. The cards stick. So, in your work, you're celebrating simplicity. We'll get there. In your career, asking for angelic support. And in your vocation, expanding inner power. I get it, right? So the warrior, you are withdrawing, going in to find the simplicity so that you can celebrate it. For the mentor, the asking for angelic support, fill in the blank for that word, angelic, for your own divine variable, fill in the blank. And in your career, going with the Hermit to find that power, that Aries power, and then expand it. So let's put this, bitch, I'm putting you in the draw next time. Okay, sorry. I've never done that before on camera. So the Hermit, right? Going in, getting that Aries energy, that sense of self, that cardinal fire going, and maybe not talking too much about it. And I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. So this is connecting by going within, right? Your creative power. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life serves personal creativity, right? When I wrote Words of Grace, people didn't hear from me right, for a while because I was in such hermit mode. So you are at your most powerful when your creativity is given a voice, particularly if that Aries energy has in there rage, irritation, frustration, wrath, those more fiery elements, throat chakra, to express them in a creative rather than a destructive way. That makes sense. Mentor in the 8th of the career, Kali on the inner, Zeus the Emperor on the outer, asking for angelic support. My angels respond when I am open and authentic about how I feel. And it's true. They respond. They don't make it go away, but they get you what you need in the moment, even in the breath, as you acknowledge, are open and authentic, in prayer, in meditation, in whatever. Nobody else needs to know this, but then the angels come in, and the angels bring light, which, let's not get too tinfoil hat woo-woo land. Light is symbolic for truth, right? I see the light. What does that really mean? Well, this is lightning, with Zeus. If you are working with a mentor, they're going to hit you with truth, but the cleanup is yours, right? You have to kind of be honest. It's like, I get what is required here, and I am terrified. Angels, gods, goddesses, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, Zan, Jaina, Fred, Wilma, Shaggy, Scooby, help. This is how I feel, and nobody needs to know about that. Nobody needs to know about that. You know, you could just, particularly with that Scorpio on the outer there. This makes sense. But in the warrior in your work with some kind of internal revelation, because you turn and go within, celebrating simplicity. I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. This could be somebody really getting that the work situation isn't for them, that there is perhaps mismanagement going on, things are overcomplicated, like red tape, too much paperwork, or just too much political toxicity going on in the workspace or in the industry, right? It could be that as well. For that 8 of Cups to emotionally say, my heart's not in this anymore, I have to go find my truth, which, you know, leads you up, and then here, this will come down. So you are more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. But, oh, we do have a double whammy. Celebration and celebrate written on the cards. So this is you going for your own happiness. The question is really, can you do this without indifference to the suffering that you might be inflicting on others? That might be part of what this revelation is, heart, third eye crown, as a result of tuning in. But here's the tea. If you think, oh, I'm being selfish, well, be higher selfish. Fulfill your contract. You're going to bless everybody else as a result. And if that's walking away from something that no longer serves you emotionally in terms of work, well, I think it might be time for you to bust a move in your career here, but you got to kind of deal and be authentic with how you feel about it step by step by step. That's just how you stay in balance. Look, I have worked for mentally, emotionally unbalanced bosses before. Fucking nightmare. Which is what drove me to start drawing the Circle Productions in May 1st, 1988. 1989. No, 98. Sorry. Please don't make me do math. Woo. There's a lot of data in this read, apparently. So I really make sure that my psychological internal world for my career serves. Otherwise, I'm surfing crazy on YouTube. I was a minister, right? Spiritual counselor. I did baby blessings and legal weddings and all of that stuff. I have the chops to do this, probably more than enough chops to do this. But I know for myself that if I'm not open and authentic about how I feel, what am I afraid of? The boss finding out? I am the boss of me, not anybody else. Thank the gods. Corporation of one. And so certainly with this Hermit, it makes sense. This is your leverage, it feels like, to make this go, but you got to go charge up first with the Hermit. Guess what? Last card down to help you remove the obstacles, as I mentioned at the beginning of this. The Whispers of Lord Ganesha by Angelo Hartfield. She also does the Whispers of Love Oracle that I use a lot on the channel. So let's ask him. Because, you know, a warrior without obstacles, right? That's not much of a warrior without something to kind of focus that strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Oh, thank you. Last card down as I call to the beloved Lord Ganesh, Lord Ganesha, Hindu elephant head god of success, of prosperity, but also of joy. Just a beautiful, beautiful being, but also known as the remover of obstacles. So it is to that epithet, that aspect that we call, please, one card in clarity for the Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, vocation. What is your guidance, your grace, your love, your wisdom, your power you care to impart your oracle to help them fulfill their life purpose in this work, career, vocation read? It's about your capacity to love. Your capacity to love. Gotta open that heart. Otherwise, you're a villain. Even if you're dealing with a villain, right? Card number 34. I love elephants to start with. Yes, I'm predominantly feline. My last name is Lyons. I look like one. But elephants are just magnificent beings, and it's true from what we've seen. They never forget. Is that a 34 or a 54 with your curly Q writing? That's a 34. Where are you? There you are. Capacity to love. You can tell the humidity is getting a bit much. So I'm just going to read this through, but take it in. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Lord Ganesh. Card number 35, capacity to love. It takes courage to open up and heal areas of deep vulnerability. That's what's on the table. Each human individual is created with a profound longing to feel loved. Out of this need for love, you may exaggerate and parade your fascinating qualities while masking your weaknesses or fears. Well, come on, I'm sure Libra's created the cosmetics industry. If you are not committed to looking at your root issues, you will feel disconnected from your true self. Totally here in the Hermit, the vocation thing, which means that Queen of Cups is probably more from the outside looking at you going through emotional Plutonian transformation. Take a moment to look at how you are handling yourself. Are you being open and honest? I don't know, Angel's open when I'm open and authentic about how I feel. If you are not committed to, are you being open and honest? Are you withdrawing from a situation? 8 of Cups. Are you masking a problem with some sort of avoidance tactic, such as shopping, drinking, or eating excessively? That's a bit harsh. Are you holding grudges, which is a way of diverting the work? When your heart is open, you will find that your actions tend to match your words. You rarely get offended. You are emotionally available. When your heart is open, you truly take responsibility for who you are and what your beliefs are. You love yourself more completely. Conflict resolves more easily, and you have a desire to live in harmony with others. Ganesha's trunk represents the ability to consider how you are perceiving this situation, which is significant to your growth. So again, perception versus truth, as an elephant's trunk is an important appendage that is used in its day-to-day functioning. It serves to remove trees and other large obstacles, as well as for more fiddly tasks, such as breaking open fruits to eat. An elephant has the ability to handle a range of tasks, from minute ones to those requiring great strength. In this way, Ganesha's trunk is an emblem of his great intelligence and his extraordinary capacity for love. Rely on your own vast array of abilities to tackle your problems and know that Ganesha is supporting you in this process. Okay, so your capacity to love yourself, your capacity to make more loving choices, even if they appear like mini micro choices, right? Like you can't find your keys, and instead of mentally beating the crap out of yourself, you go, everybody loses their keys. It's okay, right? Something that small moves you a little bit, and sometimes a teeny tiny shift on the inner shifts everything on the outer, which I guess with some mentorship here, some counseling, whatever, but if you are mentoring somebody, again, it's a general read, then your capacity to love, it's going to really be about you being open and authentic about how you feel as you go through this process. Honestly, I think the most obvious storyline here is about someone who's really a warrior in the world doing their thing, but it's not doing it for them anymore with that 8 of Cups, right? So they really want to celebrate the simplicity with that revelation being given to them. But in their career, if they are the boss, then, they're being shook on the inside, like download, changing everything and shaking up how they feel. Or perhaps there is an external actual mentor here as the emperor guiding them through that, maybe giving them the space to be open and authentic about how they feel, which could very much be the leverage if that is so. However, in the vocation, to go in, to take that time of solitude, to recharge, to rejuvenate their own creativity, to deal with their own interior world, which has the Aries card. I mean, that says there is creative fire. Maybe they are recreating something here in their life, walking away from something. But with the Scorpio on the outer, yes, that could absolutely be a spiritual teacher, a counselor, something of that nature. But I sense it's what we're seeing here is an emotional transformation from the outside looking in. So for them to know that they are the most powerful when their creativity is given a voice, whether those are the water emotions or the fire emotions, you get what I'm saying. Ultimately, it comes down to their capacity for love. So what we're going to do here is a blessimation, a blessing, and a summation of the reading, and then we'll chat a little bit at the end when I release the Libra Collective and get ready to do the Scorpio. By letting the goofy loose, you can tell I keep it on such a tight leash. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. And here we go. I call to the collective pantheons of the divine for the Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs watching this video and receiving this reading. May they be blessed with all that they need in their vocation to seek solitude, to focus intently on inner life, serving their personal creativity, going in, finding creativity, their spark, their self-guiding principle. With the Queen of Cups, Helena, Troy, they may be looking pretty, but they may not be letting on what's going on inside of them as they go through this emotional transformation, expanding their inner power. Because they are their most powerful when their creativity is given a voice, and that in their career, either them or someone else, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. May that be their experience, giving and taking, with a real piece of wisdom probably coming in and blowing this thing up in the best way possible, destroying illusion, allowing the truth to be seen, but perhaps an overall enlightenment, and that lightning perhaps being thrown to or from an emperor, Zeus, with his lightning bolts of truth, of bam, of instant shift, instant manifestation as well, but certainly getting a wisdom vibe there because of that mentor archetype, as long as they ask for angelic, divine, what have you support, because their angels respond when they are open and authentic about how they feel, and no one else needs to know about that with that Scorpio card there as well, so that in their work world of the warrior, that they embrace their strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, their heroism, their stoicism, in self-sacrifice and integrating and healing the ego as a result of a celebratory revelation, heart, throat, third eye crown. Something is revealed inside of them that really will perhaps move them on, right? Pushing them forward. This is no longer the gig. The new gig is coming, and we have to move in that direction, or at least start withdrawing emotionally from it, so that they can celebrate simplicity, because they're more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. And with the guidance, grace, love, wisdom, and power, and oracle message of Lord Ganesha, this is about their capacity to love in some way, shape, or form themselves, recharging their batteries, their interior world, in their vocation with the mentor, allowing this process to go through them, and their capacity to deal with and love themselves no matter what they want, asking for angelic support, and so that in their career they can take that revelation inside and make the hard choices, the stoicism, the toughness of will, without martyring about it, right? To take action, because it's going to simplify things a lot, and more gets fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain, but with an open heart that is going to make sure that their ethics are in alignment with the truth of who they are, therefore their actions. So may they be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, so that they may be more fulfilled, survive, create, and inspire themselves and others for their well-being and for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So mote it be. So it is. Thank you. My honor. That does make sense. But if you want a private reading, there's a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mel explains it all for you, just like Clarissa. And if you liked this video, please do hit the thumbs up, help the other Libras, and maybe even cross-watchers find it. And if you want more of me here on the tube of you, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be traveling and moving my house, but I try and put out something here every day, so you will get those notifications. And of course, if you want the behind the scenes, the extended stuff, the proprietary videos, the stuff that nobody else gets to see, as well as the advanced stuff, the live streams and all that jazz, come Patreon on Patreon. Really, I love it so much there. That's being open and authentic about how I feel about Patreon. It's so cool. And humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses, eventually mystics, if they haven't hit already. We'll get that done too. So, you want more of me? The Archangel Alliance, Markangelo Lyons, and come Patreon on Patreon. But remember, you just call me Mal. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I love you, my Libras. It's easy to love Libras. Y'all so pretty and balanced in some way, shape, or form across the board. So do reach out and get that mentoring as needed, or give that mentoring as needed. Have at it. Good luck. Hail. Farewell. And blessed, blessed be.